Welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. We are leading the Raiders Report in our like battle for the month of August, but that is not a very large lead. So far, so good, especially since the Cowboys and Raiders play this week in the NFL preseason. So like you should do for every show here on the Cowboys Report, make sure you like this one. Let's talk the latest on CeeDee Lamb amid all of that drama. The Cowboys still have not paid Lamb. And I think the general frustration, the angst, if you will, and the overall just bad vibes are at an all-time high right now for Lamb and for the Cowboys and for the situation. If you weren't paying attention earlier this week, Jerry Jones out there at practice goes, do you have an urgency to get the deal done? No. Why not? And Jerry gets very flippant and kind of like laughs off and goes, well, why don't you have an answer for you? I just don't have any. I went to high school. I went to college. Just like nonsense. I think very much in the same vein as Ziku. I think that was the main similarity with what Jerry was talking about. Well, it took Lamb about 10 minutes to see it. And quote tweets with LOL. And then, oh, by the way, his teammate retweets it and Micah Parsons. You can see all three things there at once with that photo. And I think the frustration from myself and a lot of you guys, I was in a bad headspace. I'm not going to lie to you once I saw that stuff because I was just pissed. The frustration just boiled over the top with that. Because I'll let you guys in on a secret. There's nobody around the NFL who actually thinks that CeeDee Lamb is going to get traded. Everyone thinks, well, they'll pay him at some point. They just don't really know when or why it's taken so long. So that's why there's so much frustration. This isn't Brandon Ayuk. This is, it'll get done. Who knows when. Here's what Jerry Jones then clarified on Sunday and kind of backtracked a little bit. I completely understand the angst that's happening when you're anxious about and someone says anything about whether you're missed or not. Well, CeeDee, you're missed, okay? But you're not missed out here competing, and it doesn't put any pressure any place on us. So that's Jerry backtracking a little bit. Not to totally dismiss him, but to be your holdout isn't impacting how we're going to pay you. I am tired of waiting. And I think almost every person in the audience agrees as much as we can get close to consensus agreement on anything in the year 2024. I am tired of waiting. This deal should have been done. I would have had it done 14 months ago. That's what I would have pushed for. I would have overpaid 14 months ago, and you'd have saved big money. So if you are like me and you just want this deal done, then type me in the comment section. I think that should be every person who's watching. So if the ad comes on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and type me. We have an update from the People's Insider, Pretty Ricky, who I believe is still fighting for his life, in his own words, with the unfortunate Brandon Ayuk situation over there. He says, as the NFL world waits on the Ayuk situation, Ricky confirmed the Cowboys offered CeeDee Lamb a 4-year contract worth $33.5 million per year. I would be surprised if this isn't resolved soon. It's been about a month of me waiting and thinking it's going to be resolved soon. So I think the bigger issue here is probably not the average per year. I think within $1 million, they're probably pretty close on the average per year. I think the bigger issue, I think this has been the case, is the guaranteed money. And there's a big gap between Justin Jefferson and A.J. Brown. And part of my overarching frustration, and we'll go more in depth on this here momentarily, is it's not like this stuff is new for the Cowboys. Having these long, drawn-out negotiations. It's frustrating. And again, like I mentioned, no one around the NFL thinks this isn't going to happen. Here's what Adam Schefter said. It's hard to imagine the Cowboys won't figure out a way to get this deal done for CeeDee Lamb. I don't know when they're going to get it done, but I expect him to be there for the Cowboys' regular season opener. Now, in your recent Cowboys holdout history, we're not going to go all the way back to Dwayne Thomas and chaos there. August 14th, that is when Zach Martin got paid. It took the Cowboys a while. Ezekiel Elliott didn't get paid until just before week 1 in September. Emmitt Smith held out for 2 games and then got paid. Now, I'm not including the threat of holdouts or non-training camp holdouts, just the main ones there. So maybe this is on me for not anticipating a longer holdout, since once it gets to this point, it's taken a while. Here, other thoughts I have on this before we wrap up this part of the show. Are the Cowboys actually trying to change the way they are viewed around the NFL? Are they actually trying to stand firm and not cave and give the player everything they want months later that costs themselves salary cap space? Or are they just going to cave again? Let's think about it. They did it with Tank Lawrence. They did it with Dak Prescott to a very extreme scenario. They did it with Zeke. Those guys got everything that they wanted. The Cowboys hemmed and hawed and let deadlines make deals and then paid. Or are they actually trying to be tougher negotiators that don't just shoot themselves in the foot? But my other part is this. Is that the one you should be doing it with? There's a reason I don't have the same tone when it comes to paying Dak, paying Micah Parsons right now. However you want to slice it, you're being aggressive, you're trying to rebuild. I think your situation is in its best scenario with CeeDee Lamb on your roster. You're trying to win games now, you need him, obviously. You're trying to rebuild, your next young QB is going to need CeeDee Lamb out there. So I don't know if this is the one to try to maximize. And like so many things when it comes to this franchise, to a more extreme extent, Dak Prescott contract is a great example of this. The real mistake was actually made a while ago. It's not that the Cowboys are making mistakes now in August and trying to get this deal done. It's that they didn't try to get the deal done back in February, back in March, back in April, back in August of last year, back in July of last year. They weren't trying that hard in previous months. From the owner's own words, they weren't trying that hard. You're kind of reaping what you're sowing right now. So that's what's dicey overall. Now, today's show is made possible by Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. How closely do you guys actually track your bank statements and credit card history? Are you combing through every single charge on a regular basis? Or do you just assume everything is fine until you notice something weird? I am that guy. I'm not paying attention to what I spend each month. It's too much going on for me, right? Rocket Money has over 5 million users, and it's a total of over 500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. That is rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. The link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. That's rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. Some more wide receiver conversation here. Bleacher Report is predicting that Jalen Brooks will actually be the wide receiver 3 over Jalen Tolbert, citing his catch against the Rams. And that was a very nice play by Brooks. I thought he was the best receiver out there. I thought Jalen Cropper also looked pretty impressive overall. But I do think in the first preseason game, given the amount of volume he actually had involved, I do think Brooks looks pretty solid. I think that's kind of missing the point, though, of the preseason. I think it is very telling that Jalen Tolbert didn't even play. The Cowboys were not playing most of their starters. There were a handful of guys who will be rotational pieces who were out there getting reps. Less than 10. That is a clear sign who the wide receiver 3 is. A lot of positive praise for Tolbert at training camp. Cowboys said, we didn't even need to get that deal done. Like, we didn't need to worry about that. That's fine. Tolbert is good to go. This is Jalen Tolbert's job. And I'm pretty confident in that. Now, how he plays, we'll see how that ends up playing out. So I'm putting the over-under at Jalen Tolbert at 445.5, so no ties, yards. I picked that number. It's more than what Michael Gallup has done over the past 3 seasons. Intentional number right there. So O for over, U for under. Let me know in the comments of today's show. Quick notes here as well. The Cowboys are planning to have a second joint practice on Wednesday against the Los Angeles Rams. So they had the joint practice last week, had the preseason game, going to have another joint practice. We will do probably a similar style video since I'm set to be off on Wednesday. So but Kristen Stone will be here, so we'll film the graphics. I'll do the quick little at-home stuff there. So make sure you guys are subscribed. We'll have updates for you guys on that joint practice. Do not miss out. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. One other fairly interesting storyline that I've seen people ask me about, Haason Reddick. He has requested a trade from the Jets as, for all the grief we give the Cowboys when they've handled that contract with Lamb and others, this one's been pretty bad by New York, which maybe is not who you want to be compared to. They give him future third-round pick for him, and he was there for the press conference, and the sides thought they were in agreement on the contract stuff, and then Reddick changed his mind, and he has not shown up. And he wants a new contract. And I get in a bubble, pretend the assets aren't involved there, in the bubble idea of going out and acquiring Haason Reddick. Because the impact would be great. And this is a very talented pass rusher who I think would fill a massive hole for you on your defensive line. I think you need another pass rusher. But what about what the Cowboys have done makes us think, they will be this would be a borderline all-in move. Well, even all-in what the Cowboys do. It'd be a huge addition. I love the idea. I think the practicality of trading for Reddick, who is all about getting paid right now, and then paying him just seems highly unlikely.